Okay, so there are two tables given. Okay, so you have to create these tables using structured query language. Okay, this is your SQL 101. 101 as in we are starting structured query language from scratch. Now, let me just share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Let me just share. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
And can you see my terminal window?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, great. So basically to start with MySQL, you must have, to start with SQL actually, you must have a DBMS. The DBMS which is in your curriculum is MySQL. You can always download it. Arav already has it in his system. Gorang, I'll send you a video with that particular video. You will be able to download the software. It is a software to basically manage your database. Okay. What do you understand by database, Gorang? What do you understand by that? I hope my screen is visible to both of you. You there?
तो क्या
Am I audible to you properly?
सर आपकी आवाज क्रैकिंग आ रही है थोड़ी बहुत.
Arav, are you there?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, great. And can you see my terminal?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, on my terminal, I have this my SQL setup in my Mac OS. In your Windows operating system, you will be running your SQL through command line client. Once you will install MySQL, you will be able to search this in your search bar. Okay, you will easily find this command line client with the help of which you can start working in SQL. You can see since MySQL is installed in my system, so I have this prompt ready now. It says MySQL and there is a or an angular bracket. Okay, now to run this particular software, which is your DBMS software, DBMS stands for database management system. Okay, it is a kind of a software to manage your databases. Okay, to run this in your command prompt or terminal, you will be required to run this command. Okay, in in your Mac operating system, there is one way to run MySQL, which is this command. But in Windows, either you can run this command on your command prompt or you can use the command line client. You can go either way. MySQL stands for the software itself. Hyphen U is for username. Root is your username, the standard one. Okay, when you will download MySQL and when you will go through the installation process, uh, it will ask you to set a username, and the default one would be already there, so you need not poke it or change it to any other name. Keep it as it is. Okay, and it will be root, and then it will also ask you for a password. So this hyphen p is for password. Once you write this command and press enter, it will ask you to enter the password. The password will never be visible to you in Mac operating system, but in Windows you will be able to see asterisk symbol, okay, corresponding to the number of characters which you have in your password. Okay, so now I have once you enter the password, you are into your MySQL and you are ready to type the commands in SQL language. So whenever you are onto this SQL prompt, the basic routine that you have to follow is you will always run this command first, show databases. This is first command, the basic command. Okay, basic MySQL command. It is your most basic SQL command to begin with, which is show databases. Okay, so show databases, what it will do, it will display the list of databases which you already have in your system. Okay, so to look at the list, I have information schema, MySQL, performance schema, student management, sys and test. I have made a database with the name test, so that whenever I want to test something out, I can always uh, get into my database test and start using it, want to create the tables and blah blah. So what do we do in our databases is we maintain tables to store our information. These information are well structured, well ordered. That is the whole point of using a database to manage your information. Okay, any problems till now, both of you? It is a revision for Arav, but new thing to Gaurang.
सर
Yes.
सर मतलब कि हम जैसे हमको एक पूरा मैंने एक बार देखा था कि मेरे एक अंकल है
Mm-hmm.
उनके लैपटॉप में ना जैसे मतलब कि स्कीमा बने हुए थे सैलरी
Mm-hmm.
स्कीमा वगैरह वगैरह
Yeah.
तो उसके अंदर मतलब टेबल के अंदर वो पर्टिकुलर है वो पूरी फाइल होती है
Uh, Basically, the thing is your schema is the information about the kind of data you are going to have in your database. Okay, schema is that thing. ठीक है ना? So the thing is, we are going to store the informations, but it is going to be in a database. The schema for it is already defined in your software, which is MySQL की database ऐसा होना चाहिए. In your database, what you can have is a table, then you can have multiple tables, then you can have relationships between those tables. Okay, that is what you can have inside your database. Now in your tables you can insert the data, you can modify or change the data, you can delete the data. These things are already defined in the schema of it. Okay, do you understand what I am saying?
यस सर
Okay, so the first command that you are going to run is show databases. Now the reason is, why do we run this command? The reason for running this command is there a database in which I want to work? If it is there, well and good, I'll straight away go and use it. But what if it is not there? If it is not there, I'm going to create a database. Okay, let's suppose test seeds. Okay, I'm making a new database with this name. So the syntax for the command is create database name. The database name for this particular instance I am taking is test_cs. Okay, you cannot have spaces in between. If you will have spaces in between two uh, words which are actually not words, they are considered keywords, so they should be defined in the schema of your DBMS. Okay, so for example, create and database, these words are keywords, they are already defined, they have a specific meaning. So you cannot write test space cs, because test does not mean anything in MySQL, it is not defined. Okay, so that is why if you want to have certain names, for example, you want to make a database someday Gorang Pachori, right? So you can write Gorang Pachori the way you want, but the only condition is there cannot be space between Gorang and Pachori. So if you want to highlight that space, you can rather use an underscore. I hope it is very well clear. So it is now saying query okay, one row affected, and it is also showing you the time it took to basically create that database. So query okay means there was no error at all in the syntax that you ran, so it worked perfectly fine. Now to see, you can press arrow key if you want, and you can maneuver to the command that you previously ran, or either way you can again basically run the command which is show databases, to again verify or check whether the database that you created is already there uh, in your list of databases. So I can see test underscore cs is already there. So now the next thing I am going to use is use test underscore cs. So when I do that, you can also run this command without semicolon. Semicolon means you are terminating your command, means you have reached an end of your command. So make a habit to always uh, use semicolons, because it is only this particular command in which you can probably use the command without semicolon, but in all other important cases and uh, all other cases where you will be creating the table, you will be managing your table, you have to actually use semicolon. Also in exam, if you're missing the semicolon, half mark will be deducted. It is that important. It means this is your end of the command. If you will not put comma, it means there you forgot something to write, or you didn't know how actually SQL works. ठीक है, अभी तक क्लियर है? Any problems till now?
सर एक बार आप बता दोगे, मैं वो भूल जाता सिंटेक्स जो वो लिखना होता है, वो पासवर्ड के लिए.
Okay, it's MySQL hyphen u root hyphen p. This is the command. It won't work.
MySQL root.
Yes, it will not work if your mysql.exe is not added to the path variable. Okay, because you know as a programmer and developer that everything that you want to access, if there is an executable in your system and you want to access it through command prompt, it is a very mandatory thing that you have its executable added to the path variable of your system. Okay, so if it is not added, if it's not working, it will directly say not recognized. So go search YouTube and try to add MySQL to the path variable, which is fairly easy. Okay, let me just try to check the battery of my laptop. It's at 5%, so in some time I gotta get my charger. Anyway, just moving on. So use test underscore cs. Now I am into this particular uh, database and I am in it to start creating my table. So the thing is, before you actually want to create a table, because the urgency when you start with SQL is to create a table, but before you actually create a table, you must get into a database in which you want to work. Just like I wanted to work in a database which is test underscore cs. It was not in the list. I checked it. It was not in the list, so that was the reason I created it. Now I have created it. To get into it, I have to run the command use test underscore cs. Now the next step that you have to do is write show tables. Now this particular command is executed to check the tables that you have in your database. So for now I don't have any, so it's just displaying empty set. Let's try to go into the test. Okay, and let's try to run the command again. So you can just press the up and down keys to maneuver through the commands that you have already executed. So show tables, even that is empty. Okay, so if there will be any, we just try to run this one. Student management, it is. It's been a while since I typed, my bad. So use student underscore management. Let us just see if there are any tables. So you can see there are a few tables in this particular database. What I can do is I can actually see the structure of a particular table if I want to. You can run this particular thing for that, which is DESC courses, or you can write describe courses. Either way, you can either write the full word describe or just do DESC courses. Okay, DESC table name basically. Okay, can be any table name. For example, if you want to just check out the structure of your student doesn't exist. Okay, so basically what does this command tell you? It tells you about the structure of the table which is already there in the database. Okay, structure means what kind of data it is accepting. So if we talk about students table, it has 4 fields. Basically it has 4 columns, or you can say it has 4 attributes. The type for the field ID is going to be integer. The field name has data type varchar, which has an upper limit of characters as 255. Age is another field or attribute or column inside my table. It again has the data type as int. Grade level has varchar again. There are 2 character data types, varchar and char, right? Till I am coming, I got to actually bring my charger. So till then, Arav, would you please explain the difference between varchar and char to Gorang, and then I'll ask him question. Okay, I'm coming in a short while. Okay, guys, I'm back. So, Gorang, can you tell me what is the difference between char and varchar?
सर यार आपने बताया ही नहीं।
Arav, are you there? Arav is not there.
यस सर।
बताओ कैर वेर कैर में डिफरेंस।
सर स्क्रीन शेयर करूं? एक
श्योर
सेकंड।
श्योर, गो अहेड।
सर
जी।
वैर कर मेरे को मतलब थोड़ा थोड़ा पता है मेरे को।
ओके, एंड व्हाट इज दैट थोड़ा थोड़ा?
वैर वैर कैर हम यूज करते हैं मतलब नंबर्स में, जैसे लिमिट वैर कैर 20 डाल दी। और कैर मतलब कि कैरेक्टर, मतलब कि दोनों एक जैसे होते हैं। वैर कैर मतलब कि लिमिट्स लेते हैं हम कि कितने।
जैसे तो हमारे पास एक टेबल, जैसे हम सीक्वल में हमारा काम सीक्वल से इंस्ट्रक्शन डालते हैं और हमें एक टेबल से इंफॉर्मेशन निकालनी होती है। तो जैसे हमारे पास ये मेरे पास एक टेबल है कंप्यूटर टेबल, एक सेकंड सॉरी, तो मेरे पास एक टेबल है कंप्यूटर। तो कंप्यूटर में जो ये कॉलम्स है, टाइप, एक सेकंड, ये प्रोड नेम प्राइस कंपनी टाइप्स, ये जो सारी चीजें हैं वो हमारे एट्रीब्यूट्स होते हैं। तो ये एट्रीब्यूट्स जो होते हैं उसमें हमें एक असाइन करते हैं कि वो एट्रीब्यूट्स कौन सा डेटा टाइप लेंगे। फॉर एग्जांपल प्राइस है तो मैं प्राइस में सिर्फ इंटीजर लिख दूंगा कि जो मेरा प्राइस एट्रीब्यूट है वो सिर्फ वो इंटीजर डेटा टाइप ही लेगा, क्योंकि मैं सिर्फ न्यूमेरिकल वैल्यूज इसके एट्रीब्यूट में फिल कर रहा हूँ, राइट। तो मैंने प्राइस का जब मैं टेबल को क्रिएट करूंगा अभी पहले, जैसे ये रहा, तो हमने जैसे प्रोड नेम के प्राइस के आगे इंट लगाया हुआ है। तो हमारा जो एट्रीब्यूट है वो जो एट्रीब्यूट है प्राइस, वो सिर्फ इंट डेटा टाइप ले रहा है। तो हमने सिर्फ इंट डेटा टाइप ही डाला हुआ था। सिमिलरली हमारे पास दो अलग अलग डेटा टाइप्स होते हैं एट्रीब्यूट्स के, कार एंड वार कार। अब कार में क्या होता है, कार और वार कार का एक ही फंक्शन होता है कि वो स्ट्रिंग्स वैल्यू को लेते हैं। जैसे मैंने प्रोड आईडी में कार डाला हुआ है तो प्रोड आईडी में मैं स्ट्रिंग ले रहा हूँ, और प्रोड नेम में भी मैंने वार कार डाला हुआ है तो इसमें भी मैं स्ट्रिंग ले रहा हूँ। तो उन दोनों एट्रीब्यूट्स के जो डेटा टाइप है उनका मेन फंक्शन होता है वो स्ट्रिंग्स लेके। अब डिफरेंस ये होता है कि यहाँ पे आप देख रहे हो कि मैंने कार 4 डाला है। इसका मतलब होता है कि जो प्रोड आईडी है और जो मैं उसका डेटा टाइप मैंने सेट करा है कार 4, जब मैं कार डालता हूँ तो मैं डिफाइन कर देता हूँ कि जो वो एट्रीब्यूट होगा वो एक फिक्स नंबर ऑफ बाइट्स लेगा और फिक्स नंबर ऑफ कैरेक्टर्स लेगा। जैसे मैंने यहाँ पे कार 4 लिखा है तो जो प्रोड आईडी होगा वो सिर्फ 4 कैरेक्टर्स ही लेगा स्ट्रिंग के अंदर। जो सबके अंदर, क्योंकि प्रोड आईडी में से 4 मैंने देखा कि वो जो प्रोड आईडी है उसमें सिर्फ 4 वैल्यूज है, P001, और वो फिर 1 2 3 चेंज हो रहा है, राइट। तो मैंने कार सेट करके को 4 डिफाइन कर दिया। और अब जैसे प्रोड नेम है, प्रोड नेम में यहाँ पे कुछ फिक्स नहीं है, यहाँ पे माउस लेजर प्रिंट, यहाँ पे अलग अलग वर्ड्स है और अलग अलग बाइट्स अकोमोडेट होते हैं। तो मैंने यहाँ पे var car सेट कर दिया। var car का फंक्शन होता है जो मतलब कार में हम बाइट्स को डिफाइन कर देते हैं कि वो इतने बाइट्स लेगा और इतने वो लेगा, इतने कैरेक्टर्स लेगा। और var car में हम डिफाइन, var car में ऐसा कुछ नहीं आना होता, वो उसका अपोजिट होता है बस।
Okay, Gaurang, what did you understand so far?
सर मतलब कि दोनों ही स्ट्रिंग्स लेते हैं।
Yes, absolutely, that is correct. Next.
एंड जैसे हम यहाँ पे कैर 4 डाल देते हैं तो मतलब कि वो 4 करेक्टर्स लेगा मैक्सिमम।
Okay, Arav, can you press Control plus on your display? On your keyboard, just do that. No, 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 don't write it. Press the keys on your keyboard. Control and plus, which would be next to the backspace. Okay, not happening. I just wanted you to, set up the font size. Anyway, so what happens, Gorang, as you rightly said, that both the data types actually take string. If we talk in terms of Python, okay, they both are character data types, but the difference between the two is, suppose Gorang wants to store data and he has two fields. The first field is name, the second field is phone number, or let's say uh, phone number is quite obvious, but let's take Aadhaar card number, which is your ID number. Okay, so Gorang has two fields, name, second one is your ID number. So being a citizen of India, Aadhaar card number has 4 digits. Sorry, 4 digits. I'm saying it. Your Aadhaar card number is actually of 12 numbers, or we can say 12 digits, or I even say it it has 12 characters, which is fixed in everyone's case, right? Be it Gorang's Aadhaar card or mine, the number of digits or number of characters in this particular ID number are going to be 12 no matter what, just like in case of your phone numbers, which is of 10 digit in India currently. So the thing is, you can store these uh, strings or character values, okay, with the help of these data types, but you must choose the correct one so that you can manage the space on your disk properly. Now how does that happen? It happens in a way, if Gorang has set up a field name, he has to store names. Let's suppose he'll be storing the name of Arav, he will be storing the name of Ajay Rathi, he'll be storing the name of, let's say, uh, let's take a name of Kohli. Okay, so all these names have different number of characters, right? So the ideal data type which you will take for this type of data values will be variable character data type. So your varchar actually stands for variable character, meaning in your values the number of characters going to vary. So I'll set up a maximum limit, let's say 20 I have set up. So now what happens is, if a name is there which has 10 characters, it is going to take only 10 bytes on your storage device, okay, on your disk. It is going to take 10 bytes. Why? Because one character is going to take 1 byte. Had it been the case, if Gorang has set up this field for the data type char20, so even if he is trying to store Gorang or Neil Armstrong, both of these names are going to take up 20 bytes in the memory. As you know, Gorang just has how many characters? I believe it just has 7 characters. So ideally it should take up 7 bytes, but no, it will take 20 bytes. So in a way, those 13 bytes of your memory are getting wasted, okay? Or you can even say they are these number of bytes are getting dumped, okay, unnecessarily. You're wasting your memory in a sense, so you have to manage your memory well. Now you can ask me one question, so why does it happen? How does Gorang is going to take 20 bytes if I set up char equals to 20? Now what happens is, let's suppose Gorang takes up 7 bytes, all other remaining bytes will go for spaces, for it'll go for white space characters, because you have given instruction that I want to store my name as a character value or a character data type, not as variable character. It is going to be char20. You have fixed the size of your characters, the maximum memory size they are going to take in your memory. You have allocated the memory, you have allocated 20 bytes to one name, no matter how many characters it has. So ideally this method is wrong. So you should rather go for variable characters. You will set up a maximum limit of characters or bytes, which is 20, let's say. But if I have a name such as Arav, or I have a name such as Jay, should take up only 3 bytes. Why would I want to give 20 bytes to such a short name? You're getting my point. Gorang, did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So can you please explain, like, what is it all about? See, if you won't say, you will not be able to understand, because it is entirely verbal and there are no cramming, or there is no cramming which is going on. So try to take up my words on their merit and try to expound on it, or rather, say at least whatever you have understood in your own words. This is the best part of learning, okay? See, you have no constraints here. I am not giving you marks, Goran. But the thing is, if you really want to enjoy the process of learning, so you got to be a little vocal. Okay, so whatever you have understood, so go ahead and let me know.
तो सर मतलब कि जैसे मतलब कि ये कैर कैर जो होता है दोनों स्ट्रिंग्स लेते हैं,
Mm-hmm.
लेकिन अगर हम लगाते हैं कैर कैर 4 और वेर कैर 420, तो
Mm-hmm.
ये एक तरीके की लिमिट डल जाती है
Yes.
कि जो जो जैसे मतलब कि जैसे हमने prod आईडी में लिया है कैर 4,
Yes.
तो जो मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ कैरेक्टर डालेंगे हम वो 4 का ही होएगा, चाहे वो 1000 हो चाहे वो 999 हो.
No, no, no. You did you didn't get it correctly, Gorang. Although partially you was correct, partially you were correct. But the thing is, if you have set up char 4, the maximum number of characters you can give to it is 4 only. Are you getting that? So it can be 9999. That's correct, but it cannot be in lakhs. That's what I wanted to just clarify. Okay, you can go ahead and let me know.
सर मैंने लैक्स नहीं बोले थे, मैंने 1000 और ट्रिपल नाइन नाइन नहीं बोले थे.
I took your 999 and 9 as some you know characters which is
ओके सर.
exceeding the number of characters. Anyway, you're correct. Go ahead.
और सर जैसे मतलब कि हम यहाँ पे इंट यूज करते हैं प्राइस, तो इंट मतलब कि हम उसमें इंटीजर वैल्यू डाल रहे हैं, वो 0 to 0 1
Gorang,
2 3
I just want to point out, I even if you are trying to store 1000 or 9999, both of these values has 4 characters. Okay, so the thing is कि चाहे आप 10 स्टोर कर रहे हो या 1000, both are going to take 4 bytes. The catch is that, समझ रहे हो आप? चाहे आप 10 स्टोर करो या 1000, लेकिन नंबर ऑफ बाइट्स जो जा रही हैं वो 4 ही जाएंगी in both the cases. That is the thing. Whereas in varchar, had it been varchar, तो 10 के लिए 2 बाइट्स ही जाती और 1000 के लिए 4. जैसी ज़रूरत है वैसी ही नंबर ऑफ बाइट्स चली जाती. कैरी ऑन.
ओके ओके सर. और सर जैसे मतलब कि प्राइस के अंदर में इंटीजर, तो उसके मतलब प्राइस जो इंटीजर वैल्यू होएगी,
या
कंपनी मतलब कि कंपनी की क्या कंपनी है उसकी, तो उसमें भी हमने वैर यूज करा है क्योंकि हमने 20 लिमिट डाली है, तो हम 20 की 20 अगर हम इसमें कैर डालते तो कैर में जैसे हम 20 डालते तो हमको 20 की यूज करनी पड़ती.
Absolutely. So that's great, Gaurang. You understood the concept well. Now let me just share my screen. Okay, and let us try to create a table. So to create the table, I hope my terminal is visible to both of you.
Yes sir.
So the command to create the table is create table, whatever table name that you want to have. For now I want to put this name, but before I continue, let me just switch back to my database that I want to work in. So I'll do use test cs, and here I'm going to create a table. So create table, it is going to be student. Now it is going to be a fairly simple table. Okay, we won't do much things here, but it is going to be a very basic table which will actually give you some clarity about the data types that we are going to have. Okay, so my table is student. So the syntax goes like create tables, table name and attribute underscore name, its a data type. Okay, and any constraint on the data if you want to have. Okay, the syntax goes like this, and so on for all other attributes. So my first attribute that I want to have is roll number. That is going to be my first field. Now the type that I am choosing for roll number is int, since it's quite obvious roll number is going to be in numbers, so it is a go-to data type which is int. Now there is one constraint that I would like to introduce to you today is primary key. So I want to make my column roll number, my attribute roll number, as a primary key. Now, Gorang, I would like to tell you that there are certain keys. Keys are basically attributes which helps us to uniquely identify the rows in a table. Either way, I can say that our keys actually uniquely identify the tuples in my relation. Relation is synonymous to table, tuples is synonymous to rows, attribute or attributes is synonymous to your columns. Okay, so I have roll number. The data type I want to choose for it is primary key. You can also remove it if you want. So for now I'm not keeping any constraint whatsoever. Now I'm going to have a field as name. So Goran, what should be the data type for name?
So varchar.
Very good. And what is the maximum limit that you want to set up for it?
20.
Yes. So you recognizes or you determine your maximum limit by looking up the data that you have at your disposal and which you want to store in your table. सपोज आपने अपनी डेटा देखा कि वहाँ पे तो कोई ऐसा नाम ही नहीं है जिसमें 10 कैरेक्टर्स से ज़्यादा आ रहे हूँ, बट टू बी ऑन द सेफर साइड सो दैट लेटर ऑन वेन एवर यू आर इंसर्टिंग द डेटा कोई ऐसा नेम ना है जिसमें 10 से ज़्यादा हो. So you are choosing a very good type of data which is varchar, and also you are also setting up a maximum limit which is 20 to be on a safer side. Okay, so you wrote name varchar 20. Okay, that's great. Now I want to have, let's say, age as another field. So what should be the data type for it?
Int.
Yes, very good. Let it be int. And suppose now I have my DOB. So the data type that you will choose for any sort of a date related value will be date. Okay, date is another kind of data type that you have in SQL. Although you can also take char or varchar, but the ideal one is date. It has a proper format in which you will store the value. I'll let you know. Okay, so I'll tell you the format, or it is going to be just this one, which is year, month and day. This is the format in which you will store, and also it should be inside quotes. Okay, we'll see it when we'll be inserting. DOB is done. Marks obtained, let's keep marks as another data type. Okay, marks obtained, what should be the data type for it? Float. Okay, float is another type of data type which can be there in SQL. Okay, to store approximate values. Okay, so I'll just create the table, and to look up the structure of the table you can run the command describe student or DESC student. So it has these fields which is roll number, name, age, DOB, marks obtained. Okay, and it has types int, varchar, int, date and float, or and then it says null. Can you keep the field null? It says yes. Okay, because I have not put up any type of constraints. Constraints are actually your restrictions on the data. So you have not null, you have default, you have unique, you have primary key, you have foreign key. These are basically your 5 constraints or restrictions that you can have on your fields. But for this particular instance we are not keeping any sort of constraint on our data. Also it says default. Default is actually for any sort of default value if you're giving. Okay, but for this particular instance we didn't take any sort of default value, so it says null. Extras is for any extra thing that you are putting up. We generally ignore that because we don't do any extras. Okay, so now our table is set up. now we would like to insert the values. So the command to insert values, or actually rows or tuples in your uh, table, is going to be insert into table name, which is student, and then we'll say values, and the values are going to be like, let's say first I want to store roll number 1, the roll number name is Arav in my class, and then age of Arav is 16 perhaps, and then his DOB, it is something like whatever, I'll just take by idea, so I'll say 2008, and let's say 12th of month and 25th, okay, 25th of December. Okay, it is just an example, don't mind your date of birth. Marks obtained is, let's say, 96.5. Okay, it says query okay, meaning I was able to insert my values properly and without any sort of errors. Had it been some sort of value like, let's suppose I forgot this quote here, and I'm trying to insert values for, let's say, second roll number, which name is Moran. Okay, I missed this quote. Okay, let's say I've also missed or wrote this age in quotes. Okay, so I've induced error in my statement whenever this sort of case happens. So put up this same character, press that, let's try to run that again. Okay, it's giving me some sort of error. Let me just try to put it, and now try to run the command. Okay, so the error in this particular command is the value. Okay, actually it took age, although I tried to insert it inside quotes. Anyway, let's try to another name. Let's take J. Okay, so can you see that that it is showing you the error? So it says unknown column J in field list. So it is actually taking up J as a column. Okay, because the thing is, J should be put up inside quotes to be able to insert that particular tuple properly inside your table. So whenever, the basic agenda to show you this is, whenever you try to insert values using an improper syntax or improper values for a particular data type, so you'll always get some sort of error. If you're not getting that error, you will definitely get this particular message, which is query okay. It means you are able to successfully run your insert into table command. Now since you have actually inserted the records in the table, you would also want to see your records in the table. So the query that you will run now, I did not say command, I said query. So query means a special type of SQL command that you use to actually query with your data. The data is already there and you want to ask something from your data. It means you are trying to query with your data, and querying is always done using this select statement. Basically this select keyword is known for your select statement. So select asterisk, the meaning of asterisk is that you want to display everything which is there in your table. So asterisk is for that. We also say display all. From, again a keyword, from where you want to display. I want to display it from student, which is the name of my table. Semicolon to terminate the command. You will press OK. You'll be able to see your values inside the table. So can you see, you have all these values. The problem is that in my roll number field, I have two common roll numbers. Now, if I have two common roll numbers, the problem is I'll not be able to recognize my rows uniquely. If I ask you, Gorang, क्या आप had it been some other value, let's say, let's try to insert one more value class, which is for Arav. Okay. This time I'll just change the name to Ajay, let's say, and I'll change the marks 66.5. Okay, the values there. Now, Gorang and Arav, if I ask you, can you tell me the marks scored or obtained by roll number 1? What will be your answer?
So 96.5.
Why not 66.5? The problem is
सर लेकिन
both of these students has roll number 1, and I asked you a simple question, which is कि रोल नंबर 1 ने कितना स्कोर किया है, तो आपने कोई गलत जवाब नहीं दिया, बट मैं कह रहा हूँ कि एक और स्टूडेंट है जिसका रोल नंबर 1 ही है, लेकिन उसके भी मार्क्स उसके तो मार्क्स 66.5 हैं, इसका मतलब आपने गलत आंसर दिया, जबकि गलत नहीं है. So the problem is what happens at times while you are maintaining the data, which was a limitation in your flat file system. The system that we are using right now is database management system. Previously, when there was no DBMS or databases, we used to maintain records in our flat files, like your text, simple text file or a document file, okay, in your systems. Even before that, we used to maintain records in hard notebooks or hardbound files, right? So the problem there was this ambiguity occurs at times, which creates data inconsistency. So we want our data to be consistent, not inconsistent. Now what is happening is there is a record जहाँ पे रोल नंबर तो 1 ही है, लेकिन मार्क्स अलग अलग हैं, नेम की भी बात की जाए तो अलग अलग हैं. अगेन देयर कैन बी एन एम्बिग्यूटी इन एज. सभी बच्चों की यहाँ पे एज 16 है ना, ऐसा डेटा हो सकता है ना जहाँ पे अलग अलग हो. तो बेसिकली इन योर रिलेशंस, इन योर टेबल्स, यू वांट एटलीस्ट वन फील्ड जिसके ऊपर आप एक कंस्ट्रेंट डाल दो, एंड दैट कंस्ट्रेंट इज रादर प्राइमरी की, जिसकी मदद से ये हो जाएगा कि वो पर्टिकुलर फील्ड या एट्रीब्यूट हमेशा यूनिक वैल्यूज ही लेगा. यानी अगर उसने एक बार रोल नंबर 1 ले लिया तो दोबारा आप 1 इंसर्ट ही नहीं कर पाओगे. ओके, द थिंग इज दैट. सो वी ऑलवेज वेन एवर वी आर basically creating a table, always try to make at least one of your attributes as the primary key, like we were doing in case of roll number. Okay, that is the basics. We will be creating primary keys and all of the tables later on. Also, suppose I'm not happy with this table student at all, okay, what I can do is I can delete it using drop table. Table name is student. Okay, the table is gone. If I try to do select star from student, it says test cs dot student. It's quite like things we do in Python, isn't it? कि test cs जो database है उसके अंदर मेरे पास student नाम की कोई चीज़ ही नहीं है. What are you trying to do? Basically I deleted it with this particular command. So drop table is for that. Okay, now I can even do show tables to check if there are any type of tables in my so you can see I don't have any tables now. um, what was the command to check the databases? What should I write if I want to check the list of databases, Goran? Show what?
Sir, what?
To check the list of the existing databases.
Sir, select star from
No,
table.
no, no, no. I wrote
The
it.
name.
It is right there on your screen. I just typed it or wrote it, whatever you want to consider. So show databases is the command with which you can check the list of the databases. Suppose I do not even like test underscore cs, so you can even delete that. Drop database name is test cs. So you can just do that and you can try to execute the command again. It will say what? Test cs is gone, right? So these are certain commands that we have covered today. The first command was to start